218 million children globally are at work. They do not go to school and have little or no time to play. Many do not receive proper nutrition or care. They are denied the right to be children. As we observe World Day Against Child Labor, let us endeavor to allow children to be who they ought to be. Hi, welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Between the pages, a detailed look at the Houses of Parliament design competition, plus what's happening inside Jamaica House. All that and more are coming up. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, June 12. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has been specially invited to attend the G20 summit in Buenos Aires, Argentina, as well as a special ocean summit in Oslo, Norway. The invitations follow bilateral talks with the country's leaders on the margins of the recently concluded G7 summit in Charlevoix, Canada. During discussions with Norway's Prime Minister, Mr. Holness sought to increase technical assistance for the Caribbean Maritime University, which has received the Nordic countries' assistance since its inception. Prime Minister Holness and his Norwegian counterpart also explored collaboration on research in fisheries and ocean resources. Talks between Mr. Holness and Argentina's president centered on cementing advocacy for small island developing states and climate change. The two heads of government also discussed ways to strengthen agricultural cooperation. The Senate has approved the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA bill with 77 amendments. The bill was piloted by Senator Pernell Charles Jr. and passed last Friday.
It is fitting that I acknowledge the conduct and the team effort of my colleagues in the passing of this legislation, one which is critical to the national security framework for our country.
Among the amendments are the appointment of the agency's Director General and provisions for the extension of the term of appointment from 3 to 5 years. The bill also sets up MOCA as a statutory law enforcement agency with operational independence and authority. Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Audley Shaw says he's working on a proposal for the establishment of a law that will make it mandatory to separate solid waste from recyclables, including plastic. Minister Shaw argues that separating garbage has become critical, especially in light of the threat plastic poses to the environment, in particular our oceans.
Other countries, we have seen garbage being separated as a matter of law. You must separate your plastics and other potential reusables from the garbage that will naturally go off into the environment. We haven't done that yet.
The minister was addressing LASCO's Relief Environmental Awareness Program REAP Award ceremony and luncheon recently. Government will be spending $10 million to upgrade shelters across the island. The upgrading works will begin in Clarendon with special focus on Portland Cottage, Alley, Racecourse and Scotts Pass. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says these communities are often impacted by flooding during the hurricane season. He was speaking at the recent launch of the 2018 National Hurricane Preparedness Campaign.
These shelters, the work will include water storage facility, sanitary convenience, and this is a major issue. We're going to be making preparations in these shelters for ramp and handrails for the physically challenged who have to go to these facilities.
The program will be extended to other communities that have experienced severe damage during rainy periods, such as those in Portland and St. Thomas. The Ministry of Health is reporting that there has been one presumed dengue-related death since the start of the year. Up to June 11, the ministry says it received 6 notifications of possible dengue-related deaths. 3 of them, including the one confirmed, fit the clinical case definition for dengue-related deaths, but the other 2 have no positive dengue results and therefore remain suspected cases. The Health Ministry says the remaining 3 notifications do not fit the case definition for dengue-related deaths and are not considered suspected cases at this time. The cases continue to be investigated. Dengue fever is caused by a virus transmitted by the bite of an infected female Aedes mosquito, the same vector that transmits chikungunya and Zika. Dengue fever is endemic to Jamaica and symptoms include a high fever, headache, vomiting, muscle and joint pains, and a skin rash, which usually lasts 2 to 7 days. There is no specific treatment, but access to proper medical care reduces mortality rates. The best way to prevent dengue is to avoid mosquito bites. While it continues to heighten mosquito control activities island-wide, the Health Ministry is urging persons to destroy mosquito breeding sites in and around the home. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Thursday is the deadline for Jamaican architects to submit a proposal for the new Houses of Parliament design. The new building to be erected at Heroes Park will be part of what is known as the Government Oval Zone. See now for more information on the design competition.
This is the place where laws are enacted.
Those in favor? Those against? As of it.
It's Gordon House, the official chamber for both Houses of Parliament. It became the temporary meeting place in 1960 when the House membership outgrew the seating arrangement at the prior chamber just a few yards below at Headquarters House. Once again, it's time for another change of location, this time to its permanent place for greater efficiency to manage the affairs of the people. The vision became clearer on May 17, 2018, with the launch of the Houses of Parliament Design Competition. The proposed location, the National Heroes Park. It's an opportunity for teams at home and in the diaspora to design the new building. And in vying for the coveted spot, their designs must also include the development of the entire National Heroes Park. This must maintain the sacredness of the Monument Park and include public recreational gardens and green spaces.
This is indeed a historic moment for downtown Kingston and Jamaica. Indeed, it is transformational.
Just imagine that whether you are an established architect or an upcoming architect, you have the opportunity to write the history of what this space and by extension of what downtown Kingston will look like in the future.
With the Houses of Parliament design competition now open, architects can now pre-register and access competition documents. Registration will cost $20,000 and closes on June 14, 2018. As the government's chief development agency, the Urban Development Corporation UDC will be managing the competition process. To facilitate the designing of the new Houses of Parliament building, registered participants will be granted a guided tour of the site and the existing Houses of Parliament, and a bidders' conference to provide clarity where needed. Discussions will be on the use of the Parliament building and the build-out of the park. UDC team members will also respond to all queries at designcompetition@udcja.com. After this, it will be submission time, a 2-month window running from July 20 to September 17. To select the top 5 designs, an evaluation committee or jury has been selected. It is chaired by architect Mark Raymond, who is also the chair of the Association of Commonwealth Societies of Architects in the Caribbean.
The government is collaborating to ensure that the final design meets the requirements of all parliamentarians and has therefore formed a bipartisan parliamentary oversight committee chaired by none other than the Honorable Carl Samuda.
Architects of the top 5 designs will each receive $2 million. In addition, first, second, and third place winners of the 5 will receive $5, $4, and $2 million respectively. And there is more.
There is also a People's Choice Award. And this award, we expect the public to have their say by voting on the entry that they believe is best suited for our application.
This project is what we all, as architects, dream about. Jamaica will have its new Houses of Parliament conceived, designed and built by Jamaicans.
This is a moment in history, so I'm really excited to be a part of this competition.
Jamaican international architect Gordon Gill is the patron of the competition, and he will be providing professional guidance to all stakeholders throughout the process.
I've been asked to help guide UDC so that the process is at an international standard.
The construction of the Houses of Parliament at the National Heroes Park is part of the broader development for the park and the redevelopment of downtown Kingston.
We're going to build this parliament, and it will be done in the best interest of all the peoples of Jamaica.
There's no doubt that this development will change the culture of the area, the mindset of the people, and the perception of downtown. All this change starts with this competition. That is what is symbolic and significant.
To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 876-656-8031 or visit their website at www.udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Last week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness took part in the G7 summit in Canada. We have that and other developments coming out of Jamaica House next.
Prime Minister brings plight of small island developing states to G7 summit, seeks out partnership with Norway, Argentina and Kenya, and announces the rollout of a road safety public education campaign. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for greater partnership and cooperation between small island developing states and developed countries to tackle issues hindering growth. Mr. Holness made the call during his address to the G7 Summit's outreach session on Saturday.
The best partnership that the more developed countries could seek to strike with small island developing states is to be more facilitating of our economic growth and trade and technology transfer, and developing a global system that is more understanding of the issues faced by small island developing states. And in the case of Jamaica, to recognize the issues that we have with high debt. And I think there is a high level of receptivity, but we have to continue to carry the message in every fora in which we get the opportunity.
The G7 grouping, which represents the world's most advanced economies, met on June 8 and 9 in Quebec, Canada. Jamaica was among a group of 16 countries and organizations invited to have frank discussions about global challenges, including the role of oceans and maritime resources in supporting economies. Discussions were also had about addressing plastic pollution, building resilient coasts and coastal communities, as well as illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Prime Minister Andrew Holness used his participation at the G7 summit to strengthen Jamaica's cooperation with other countries and international organizations. The Prime Minister met with his Canadian counterpart to discuss environment and climate change issues. Mr. Holness also met with Canada's Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship. On the margins of the summit, Jamaica's head of government also held talks with the Prime Minister of Norway and the Presidents of Argentina and Kenya. During talks with Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta, discussions centered on trade, sports, culture and tourism. Mr. Holness also met with the heads of international organizations during his attendance at the G7 summit. They include head of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Angel Gurria, World Bank CEO Kristalina Georgieva, and the International Monetary Fund's Christine Lagarde.
Where I stand is in the intersection of where we see ourselves and exactly where we are. And my job is to move the society from where we are to where we want to be.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is pledged to members of the Jamaican diaspora in Canada Thursday. OPM Live Canada was held at the Praise Cathedral Worship Centre in Mississauga, Ontario. In addition to updating the gathering on work being done to improve the economy, employment and infrastructure, Mr. Holness also shared positive news on the management of crime.
overall, crime is declining compared to last year. All major crimes, including murders, have declined compared to this time last year. We will not have overnight solutions because the crime problem is a long-term problem. It's a problem long in coming, and it will take the long-term commitment of the government to get on top of the problem.
Jamaica is open for your business.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's invitation to investors attending a Jamper luncheon in Toronto, Canada, Thursday. It was held, among other things, to promote the Jamaica Investment Forum planned for June 12 and 14 in Montego Bay. At the Canadian Forum, Mr. Holness assured the business leaders that significant strides had been taken in making Jamaica attractive for investment opportunities. Among them, cutting red tape in the public sector, marked improvement in physical infrastructure, the BPO industry, tourism and real estate sectors, and investment in renewable energy. Mr. Holness said investments had also been made in human resource training and Jamaica's national security.
Plan Secure Jamaica is a comprehensive plan to bring not just the crime issue under control, but to increase Jamaica's security as a nation state, to improve the security of our borders, our ports, our maritime space and our airspace, to improve security around our infrastructure, and to ensure that we are resilient, that we can recover quickly from shocks, so that the investments that you make are well protected and well secured.
Before he left Jamaica for Canada, Prime Minister Andrew Holness toured roadworks in the Kingston metropolitan area. The roadways form part of the $170 million legacy projects under the Major Infrastructure Development Program. In Kingston, they include Mandela Highway, Constant Spring, Hagley Park, and Barbican roadways. Mr. Holness said investments in the thoroughfares would increase productivity by reducing travel time. In the building of the roadways, he said upgrades had been done to the sewerage and water mains, drainage and telecommunications infrastructure.
They are increasing the number of lanes. They are putting in modern road furniture. They are putting in modern technology for traffic enforcement. They are having better surfaces. They are also built taking into consideration the disabled community.
The Prime Minister says a public education campaign will be rolled out to help citizens properly use the upgraded roadways. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Want to know the law pertaining to renting a house? What about the procedure if you're arrested? Or what is defined as corruption? Then click on the Ministry of Justice website. It has information on every law passed in Jamaica. The House of Parliament portal also has the more recent year's pieces of legislation. The sites are easy to search and the files are downloadable. Make access to justice your business. Know your rights.
Whether you were formerly married or not, you may be able to benefit from your late spouse's estate. The full details are in this next feature.
Anna, why you knocking down my door? What is it?
Jackie, I don't know what to do. From Jason dead, I have nothing to give to the children, and I don't know where to turn.
So why you didn't go down to the Administrator General's department, the place I told you about the other day?
Lord Jackie, me know you try to help me, you know, but member say me and Jason never did married, you know.
What do you mean by that, Anna? The law say, if a single man and a single woman live together as husband and wife for 5 years and more, immediately before death, then he or she is considered a spouse.
Really? That mean me can't get something then? Cause boy, it rough, you know.
Yes, man, just go down there, tell them about the case, that Jason died, leaving no will, house and children under 18 years. Go down there and see what them can do for you.
A true you talking, Jackie. Where you say the place there again?
Down a waterfront, man. 12 Ocean Boulevard. Go down there, talk to them, and see if them can help you.
Okay, I'm going down there right now.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning, miss. I hear that the Administrator General's department can help me. You see, my children, them father died, leaving me with the 2 pitney them, and I'm me alone I care for them.
Did he leave a will?
Will, ma'am. After Jason never ready for dead, how come him a come from work and drop down dead? My friend tell me say under the law, I'm considered a spouse. By the way, who is a spouse?
Under the Interstates, Estates and Property Charges Act, a spouse is a single man and woman living together as husband and wife for 5 years or more. By living together, the two persons should not have been separated at any time during the 5 years immediately before death. A surviving spouse includes a person who's legally married. That is, he or she went in front of a pastor and took the vow of marriage. If Anna meets the requirements, she can hire an attorney at law or go to the legal aid clinic to apply for an order from the court declaring that she's a spouse. Some of the questions the court will look at are: did Anna and Jason break up during the 5 years? Did Jason have any children born in the same year as Anna's children? The court will also want to know if Anna or Jason were married before and not divorced. Once the order has been granted, the spouse would be entitled to benefit from the estate of the deceased. For further information, you can visit the Administrator General's Department in Kingston, 3rd floor at the Office Center Building, 12 Ocean Boulevard, or call us at 922-183023. You can also visit our Western office at the 2nd floor of the National Housing Trust Building at 42B Union Street, Montego Bay, St. James. Telephone 630-4261. Our website is at www.agd.gov.jm. That's the Administrator General's Department, securing your legacy.
The culture of Jamaica is such that our parents would have instilled in us the value of work. And there is nothing wrong with parents ensuring that children understand the value of work. But when that crosses the line to getting our children engaged in illegal activities, such as scamming, when that crosses the line to get our children engaged in illegal activities such as becoming involved in the illegal sex trade and human trafficking, when that crosses the line such that being involved in work deprives the child of the opportunity of education, then that is not the kind of child labor that any country can be proud of. Many of our parents continue to take children out of school to help them in the markets on a Thursday and on a Friday. I can well understand and appreciate the need for the support of the household so that you can go to school on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But parents, you have to desist from doing that. The government has provided the resources necessary to ensure that children can remain in school for the full 5 days per week. And I encourage all parents, no matter how you are struggling, to take advantage of the support that the government gives through the PATH program and other means. There is no excuse for parents to take their children out of school
to support them in any form of economic activity.
As you've just heard, Jamaica is not immune to child labor. We see children on the street selling bag juice or other items. We see children working in shops when they should be in school. We want a better life for all children than we had. Let's empower them. Next, we showcase how one school is playing its part to ensure the boys in their care grow up to be admirable men.
Boys are often depicted as rude, rough and strong, while their female counterparts the complete opposite. But steps are being taken right here in Jamaica to change that age-old cliché. Watch now as boys from the Independent City Primary School in Portmore are taught fine dining and social graces. The tables were meticulously set. And in no time, all was ready for the special occasion.
We're having a fine dining luncheon for our boys today, and different speakers will be coming in to address our boys as it relates to fine dining and changing the culture that now exists in our country. The little crudeness and so on, we're trying to ensure that our boys be nicer to our females, to their peers, and by extension, just embracing our country and the aesthetics that we have here.
The Boys' Day event, which was held in Portmore Heart Academy Auditorium, employed practical demonstrations and instructions to teach the boys proper dining skills and social graces. The first lesson of the day was to teach them how to properly use their napkins.
And you place it in your lap.
After the boys mastered this art, they learned how to properly eat their appetizers, which consisted of a warm bowl of soup and a side of roll.
You take your roll up and you break off a bite-sized piece. With one finger, one hand, that's what you eat. You put back the rest on your tray and you eat just what you break off. With me, you never bite the roll, okay? And you drink your soup from the side of your spoon.
And before long, these boys got the hang of it. Some were so good that they were correcting their peers. After a sumptuous appetizer, the boys were treated with a mouth-watering main course meal, and boy were they pleased.
You use your left hand with the fork and your right hand with the knife. The fork alone is to go to your mouth, the knife will not go to your mouth.
So what was the reason for hosting such an unforgettable event for the young men in training?
It's really about that as much as we spend time with the girls, we want to equally develop the boys, because research suggests that the boys move at a little slower pace at this age, so we want to ensure that we give them equal opportunity.
I hope that other schools will emulate, will copy, to ensure that our boys are exposed. We don't box them in at school every day, but we showcase them and let them realize that there are different places, and when you go to different places, you behave different ways.
And the effort and hard work of the school did not go unnoticed.
We feel like it's the best day, the best boys' day, because how they prepare it, how it looks, where it's held.
This is where the magazine closes for today. Thank you so much for turning the pages with us. Please stay connected via our social networks. We are just a click away. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.